Trials, the week of June 30th, 2023. The map this week is Bannerfall. I hate this map, but others like it, so you might have fun on this. What is the weapon for this week? It is the Exalted Truth. Woot woot. We're going to be going a little bit in depth on the map here this week. So first off, we got our two main spawn points. This map is pretty even and pretty linear. Both teams have about the same access to the same spots at the relative same speeds as the other team. There's not really an advantage to either spawn. So on that regard, it is a decently balanced map. The reason why I dislike it is its enormous sightlines and lack of cover in the main plaza area. But other than that, it's a relatively good map. So we're going to start out first.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that goes and challenges all the death spots in this map, where if you don't get there first, you're probably just going to die to a sniper. And like I said, this map has a lot of extreme sight lines. You got so many long sight lines that you need to be aware of in this map. And again, try to stay away from these because a lot of players try to get to these first. And if you're not there first, you might be eating a sniper bullet as soon as you enter those areas. Best thing to do is to either speed past them or use as much of the cover on the map as you can. Again, this might be a rough one for those that don't know how to deal with snipers. Honestly, the best counter is figuring out where they are and team shotting them. But again, you have to figure out where they are first. Just try to avoid the long sight lines as best you can. I know it's a hard ask, but you will be doing your teammates a favor if you can do these things. Now, again, Trials is still Dominion, so you have 2 points. You have the one in the plaza area, and you have one in the courtyard, one that's right next to the heavy ammo. Like I said, no spawn has an inherent advantage. They are pretty even on this. So we will start with the one that is on the outside. This one is going to be the hardest, I think, to control overall because, like I said, there's so many sight lines on the outside. But trying to take some of these strong positions that are in green will be advantageous to you winning. You really want to control that center piece in the red. It is known to most players as Mohawk. Generally, you want to station a player using it as cover, kind of baiting for his teammates, because usually you can bait someone to push you and you have a sniper or a pulse rifle on any of the strong positions. You can catch those people out. But I think the biggest issue with this map, especially on the outside, is it can turn into a stalemate really fast where nobody wants to peek each other. And unless you have the range to deal with it, it can be rough. Again, using the strong positions to your advantage. There are some flank routes, but honestly, the flank routes take so long to get to. Giving up your strong position might mean you might lose the game. Again, it's Dominion, so if they start capturing the point and they have a Titan or something, it can be almost impossible for you to recapture it. Now we'll start talking about the inside spawn capture point. Again, the green positions are strong positions. The ones on the outside in the plaza are really good if you got really long range pulse rifles, scout rifles, or sniper rifles. Having these strong positions on the outside might not net you a win, just based purely off the fact if one team has control of the inside, they could just throw up a Titan wall, sit on the point, and capture the point. So be wary of that. This part might be more relegated to shotguns and close quarters, fusion rifles. You really want to take control of that center point, and I would say avoid going into the passage because there's not very many good ways to cover the point from in there, and it's very easily spammable with grenades, blockable by barricades. Very easy for someone to sit right outside the door with a shotgun and shotgun you as you come out. I would avoid going there unless you absolutely need to. But again, even on the inside, it can kind of turn into a stalemate if neither team wants to push in and grab it. But I will say whoever gets in there first and takes control of the center first probably will win the inside. Subclasses for this map. What is going to be strong? I would say mobility, mobility, mobility. So things like an Icarus dash floating warlock. You got strand hunters, strand in general with grapple, arc titans, of course, arc titans rifles. How could I forget? Till they get nerfed, they are probably still the strongest. Young Arc Mara Spines with Blade Barrage could be good. Void Titan is always good for overshields. I will say invisibility could be really good on this map because you can get to points on the map with very little risk and also just appear on enemies without them knowing you're there. It could be very strong. But I would say overall mobility subclasses are what you're looking for because you really need to take control of the map before the enemy team does. Otherwise, it's just a GG go next, especially with the minion. Weapons for this map. I would say really strong weapons on this map are going to be SMGs, pulse rifles, and snipers. Maybe shotguns in the middle area, and maybe fusion rifles. This is a good plethora of weapons to choose from for this map. You're not really going to be lacking. Exotic weapons to be looking out for is Cloud Strike. Don't bunch up. Make sure that you're not peeking same angles as your teammates because it's a good way to both be dead, like I showed you in the map layout. No Time to Explain is going to be really strong on this map. You're going to see probably some Jade Rabbits sitting on the outside of the map, maybe some floaty Warlocks using that stuff. I could see that happening. Ace of Spades would be really strong on this map. Ace has pretty good range, can contend with a lot of things on this map. You might see a pretty decent amount of hand cannons just because a lot of the engagements, if they're not in the long sightlines, are going to be mid-range, and people like hand cannons. So, but I would not be surprised if No Time to Explain is on the top for this map, just because of the long sightlines and the ability to counter snipers makes it so simple for it that to not think that it would probably be at the top. Oh, and don't forget good old Immortal. It will probably be there too. Now, let's not forget Graviton Lance. Yes, you're going to see a lot of Graviton Lances on this map. Can we talk about something for a moment? How this gun and Immortal have been so strong for so long. I know it's only been like a month or so for Graviton Lance, but Immortal has been strong since it dropped in Lightfall. And like they've done some small nerfs to it, but aggressive frame SMGs still rule the Crucible, and it's kind of old. I don't like being insta-killed by an SMG at auto rifle range. I don't know about you, but it's just not fun to play against. Where are the nerfs, Bungie? I'm not usually one to harp on things like this, but it is really annoying when it is just so far and above anything else in the game, and it has not been dealt with by either being disabled in PvP or fixed. And I know it's a relatively new weapon, and they probably don't want to just like destroy it, but I would say SMGs have been meta for a long time. Since I started playing again, which was back before Witch Queen, they've been meta. And at first it was the 600s and then it was 900s. It's not even that those aren't even good anymore. It's just that they kept micro buffing aggressive frames, and now look where we are. I think that SMGs just overall have too much range. They compete with auto rifles. There's really no place for auto rifles in the game anymore because SMGs can do their job better because they just deal more damage. Now, this isn't a call for auto rifles being buffed necessarily, but just an increase or a decrease in range on SMGs to bring them in line of what they're actually supposed to be, like pocket melters at relatively close ranges. Not this, I'm going to reach you at 20 something meters. That is insane. And a lot of auto rifles barely break 27 to 30 meters. So you barely get, what, 10 meters out of an auto rifle more than an SMG? And how hard is it really to close the gap anymore in PvP with an SMG? Not very hard. Plus, with how fast SMGs shoot, there's so much forgiveness now that it's very easy to just run and gun with an SMG. Now again, don't get me wrong, I'm not asking for like a huge nerf to SMGs. I'm just saying to bring them in line. Like, I'd like to experience Destiny without being insta-melted by a gun that I can't compete with any other gun at those ranges, unless I one-shot them with a shotgun or a sniper. My little rant, sorry about that. Back to your regularly paid programming. Now, is the hand cannon worth going and getting? The Exalted Truth? I would say so. When hand cannons get a buff next season, this thing's going to be really, really good. It's an adept weapon. It has some actually decent PvE perks, and it's a pretty reasonable hand cannon in PvP. It's probably one of the better hand cannons in PvP. When ranges get adjusted, this thing is going to be reaching out and touching people. people at some extreme ranges, it is definitely something worth going and getting. And one more thing before I go, this is like a help for those who are new to Trials, new to Destiny PvP, but how are you guys liking Trials? You liking the new matchmaking system, or you hate it? I personally think it's kind of fallen off, especially with the player counts dropping. I think if the player counts for Trials stayed high, like they were the first Trials of last season, then I think this system would be good. But with the huge decline of player counts as it goes through the seasons, and the further away from the expansions you go, it's just going to get worse and worse. So I don't know how they could fix this. I'm just trying to see how you guys are liking it, or if you guys are liking it at all. I still enjoy Destiny PvP. Sure, it can be kind of gimmicky at times, but that's what Destiny is. If you like this video, you enjoy this content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If there's anything more that I could have covered or that you'd like to see, let me know. I'm always looking to improve, and I want to thank you